Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm answering a question that I get kind of really interestingly. So let's answer this Dear Ruth Theresa question. So I actually get asked this a couple of times, and I will tell you, usually it's involved with people that have had kind of this kind of traumatic kind of turmoil, traumatic, dynamic, kind of weird childhood. And a lot of them will ask, like, my parents have passed or my brothers and sisters have passed, and I never really got to heal with them or kind of like say things out. And I will tell you, the cool part, usually what they're asking is kind of like, can I heal with them now that they're gone? And the answer is totally, heck yeah, we can do that. It can totally happen. Now, kind of the fun part about it is it's all about talking about, like, a lot of times in their physical life, if they were a drug addict or narcissistic or some other kind of issue that they were dealing with, a lot of times, like, you really couldn't talk to them about it. Like, hey, you know, dad or mom, can you tell me about this? And they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not a narcissistic, whatever it is. And so it kind of like does that. Or the other one is sometimes you just didn't realize it. Kind of like, hey, I didn't realize my mom was this, or I didn't realize my dad was this, or the memories hadn't come forward. A lot of people tell me, like, they did not have memories coming forward of physical abuse or sexual abuse or any of that kind of drama or trauma in their childhood until they were in their late 40s or early 50s. And sometimes it's one of those, mom and dad are already gone, brother and sisters are all gone, and so it's like now we don't have anybody to connect to and kind of like heal with that. So yes, we can definitely go through that healing with the family members and kind of clear things up. And I think it's kind of one of those, kind of an amazing energy to do that. Because there are a lot of times, like I said, there's times when we really can't talk to them in life, or they would have like just ignored us, like, oh no, that's not it, blah, blah, blah. This way, there's no way not to do it. And kind of like your guardian angels and their guardian angels are going to like put y'all together so we can like bring a healing to this and kind of like clear things out. And this can be anything from just like feeling heard, feeling accepted, feeling whatever it is, getting these out and to say, like, I remember this abuse. So where if I'd have told you in life, you'd have been like, no, that never happened. Part of that, it can also come in of kind of like bringing in some amazing energy of just like speaking it, giving it a voice, remembering it, kind of giving that a voice. And then sometimes it comes in with like karma, like, I was always told to be quiet, and kids are supposed to be seen and not heard, but I never got to voice this out, or I never got to say this part. And it's kind of like they were denied access to their own verbs, their own words, their own energy. So it's kind of like kind of energy. So it's kind of like, that's not what I want. So when they have passed, there are several things that you can do to kind of meditate and kind of bring their energy together and have their energy kind of assist you in rebuilding your memory or rebuilding some energy with that. And then sometimes it's really good to do, like, I've done it with several of my clients, like doing a past life regression with healing. So it's kind of going back and seeing your childhood in different realms. So it's kind of like out in the open, because a lot of times it was out in the open and then your memory like shut it down, and so everybody's like, oh, they forgot about it, let's turn it off and go. So that can come in with a lot of releasing energy as well. And I will tell you, kind of the energy with this is working through it, having enough people around you, holistic people, healthy people, to kind of work this energy for you. It is not for the faint of heart. It is usually your mind turned it off for a reason. It's like your mind just wouldn't turn it off for no reason whatsoever. Your mind turned it off for a reason. Your mind turned it off because it's like, oh my gosh, this is too much. So it turned it off, but it can be turned on to bring in that kind of energy and clear things out. I will tell you that one of the things that is really helpful with all of this is opening up to that energy over and over again and setting healthy boundaries with them. Like, I am going to allow you to come in now that you're in spirit form, only for this period of time to work through this, and then you've got to go. So they're not allowed to just like hang out in your house because their energy was already traumatic in this life. And so it's kind of like you just want to limit that energy access to them and be able to voice things out. And then that can also give you a great time to kind of like, I can work with them and then I can go home and they're not going to bother me there until I'm ready to do the next phase or the next part of this. And this can be a really great way to kind of like release their spirit from some stuck energy and release you as well. So it's kind of like releasing their energy of old stuck karma, and it's also releasing you from some old stuck karma as well. So this is something definitely we can do. I think it's kind of like a great way to kind of work through things, especially if the person you were going to work through was going to most, you know what I mean? The people that are like, oh, that never really happened. I have several of those in my life. It's like, that never happened. Yeah, it did, but they don't want to say it or talk about it. So let's give it some angel card energy and kind of find out what our angels and guides want to know is about talking or healing with deceased family members or loved ones. This one is the one that's popping out the most. This one is meditation. This is how you do it. You have to be able to meditate for long periods of time, not long, like 30, 45 minutes to an hour at a time, depending on each session, working with a healer as well to kind of bring this up and kind of give it a voice and be able to bring it to a new healed state. Your angels and guides, they're angels and guides. All of the angels are supporting your energy as you move through this. They want you to work through this. They're kind of like, we thought our opportunity, excuse me, our energy had gone and we were ready to kind of clear some things out. But it's one of those, like, now that you're willing to kind of do this and work through this, it can really bring you to a new healed state, as well as healing for them on the other side. The next one is balance. Like I said, this can be balancing our karma from past lives, bringing in a lot of energy, and which releasing it from our systems can also release us from any ailments that we might have gotten from that stuck energy that we didn't really give a voice to at that time. Nature. It is our nature to desire to heal, but it's also kind of in our nature to kind of like want to run from it at the same time. So it may be something that you need to promise you're going to yourself you're going to work through at some point. When I was going through my healing, working with my healers, there were times that I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so overwhelming. And at times I just would say like, this is not the week, or I've got to take a little bit of time off. And the other one is, there were, after about 4 years of doing this every week for 4 years, I got to the point where I was like, I've got to have a good memory in there. Like, all of these memories are horrible and sad and oh my gosh, and I was like, I have got to get to like a couple of good ones. And once I started asking for the good ones, they started coming forward. But I will guarantee you that it's kind of easier when you have like a mixture of both energies, of kind of like good energies, good memories coming forward, and bad ones, because my memory had been locked up by myself like a long time ago. Like, we're not going to remember this. And once I started giving it a voice, it started coming out big time. Our last card is freedom. We all have the freedom to heal or not to heal. Totally. And a lot of times, like, our loved ones that we are trying to work with chose to leave it here. Like, I'm going to leave this here. I'd rather kind of be unconscious with all of that. And that usually kind of denotes kind of like, usually there were drug addicts or alcoholics, because that kind of shuts everything down or kind of numbs you out so you don't have to deal with it. But there are some really strong ones of us, and I'm very thankful that I'm one of those, that I was able to work through a lot of this, kind of clear up a lot of that old, stale, stuck energy. And I feel like I go through phases where I work on it for a period of time, and then I'll take a rest for a period of time and then work on it. It can be overwhelming at times, but if you have a great team, and I will tell you, that's like the master of all things, is having an amazing team on your side that can work with you as you heal, work with you as you work through things, and kind of bring up some amazing energy so you can work through that healed state. And so you don't have to keep passing that on down through the generations, down through your kids and grandkids and great grandkids. No one wants to do that. Leave all that nasty, icky stuff for everybody else to deal with. I know. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.